Hello, everyone. This is Daniel. I'm a developer advocate for Teradata based in the EMEA region. I want to thank everyone for joining us today in our second Dev Talks live stream. Today, we are going to continue with the topics of AI agents. And for today, I have a very special guest. Well, actually, I have two, but the other one is a surprise. I have Biram here, which is going to be running today's demo, and I will pass Biram the ball so he can introduce himself, talk a little bit about what we are going to see today, and show us today's demo. Thank you, Biram.
Thank you, Daniel. Hey, everyone. I'm Vidhan Bhosle. I'm also a developer advocate. I'm based out of India, and I am a developer advocate for APJ region. So today we are going to present a different demo. Last time we had built everything from scratch. This time we are going to use something special, which is Google ADK, which is Google's very own AI development kit. So just to give you an introduction, AI agent. What are AI agent? AI agent is a software program that can understand goals, make decisions, and take actions all on its own. It uses AI to interact with data, tools, and people in a smart, context-aware way. So our today's demo is going to be about multi-agent system. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to dive right into our demo. Okay, so what you're seeing on your screen is ClearScape Analytics Experience uh, starting page. Now, if you want to run this demo, you'll need a ClearScape Analytics Experience account to get one. Either you can scan the QR code which is on your screen, or you can find the link in the chat, which I think will be loaded, will be posted soon. Once you have created the account, you are going to be going to sign in page. And here, what you have to do is you have to simply log in. Once you have logged in, it's going to take you to a dashboard, a ClearScape Analytics Experience dashboard. Here, what you need to do is you need to click on plus sign and you have to provide your environment name and you have to provide a contextual password and jot down this password because this is what we are going to use to run our demo. Once you have this, all you need to do is you need to click on Run Demos, and it's going to open a hosted Jupyter Python Lab environment or Jupyter Lab Python environment. And here you'll find a lot of different demos. But for today, we are going to run something different. What you need to do is you need to go to your use cases folder and you need to create your own folder that you can do by clicking on plus sign and create your, or you can click on this folder icon and create your own folder. I have done it for you already. So my folder is multi-agent underscore AI, right? Or multi underscore agent underscore AI. Now, where to get this code, right? I already have the code here, but you can get this code. All you need to do is you need to go to medium.com/teradata, which is our page, our Teradata page where we post our blogs. And here you need to find the blog, which is Build Your First AI Agents with Google ADK and Teradata Part 2. Click on this and you need to scroll down and you need to find the link to the code. Now, this particular block contains all the things that I'm going to be demoing today. I'm going to be showing this today. So you have to scroll down, you have to copy this particular link to the code, which is a IPYNB or IPython notebook. Go back to your Jupyter Lab environment, click on File, click on Open from URL, and paste your URL here. And you have to click Open. Now, I already have done that. So here is the code that I'm going to show you. Let's talk about our demo a bit, right? Now, our demo is basically we are going to analyze a customer journey. And for that, we're going to build multi-agent system. We'll have 3 agents. And with the help of that, we're going to analyze the customer journey, right? And imagine that you are working at a retail company, whether that's an e-commerce, brick and mortar, or omni-channel. You have customers interacting with you across multiple touch points. They visit your stores, browse your website, make purchases, contact customer support, inquire about return policies, and sometimes cancel their membership. Let's say that your CEO or somebody who is handling this particular complete or particular product walks in and asks you, What are the typical customer journey before cancellation? Now, this is a critical business question because understanding churn patterns could save millions in lost revenue. But getting that answer traditionally takes weeks. A data scientist needs to write complex SQL queries to analyze your customer interaction data. An analyst has to interpret the result, and the strategist translates it into business recommendations. Meanwhile, customers keep churning and opportunity slips away. So, in our demo today, we are working with real retail customer data. These are 35,866 rows of data. Right? These are interaction events, which includes purchases, store visits, web chat sessions, service inquiry, and membership cancellation. This represents the kind of complex customer journey data that any customer facing business deals with daily. Now, what I've told you, we could get executive ready insight from that customer journey questions in under 30 seconds. Not just data, but strategic recommendations about processes or friction in processes, policy issues, and customer experience problems. And that's exactly what we are building today. We are building a multi-agent system where three specialist agents work together to transform your natural language questions into a sophisticated customer journey analysis. So you may ask, why three agents instead of one super agent? Think of it like a restaurant kitchen. You don't want one chef doing everything. You want specialists, you want experts, you want a prep cook, you want a main chef, a pastry chef. Same principle applies here. Instead of one agent trying to do everything poorly, we create experts. And that is what we are doing here. Here we have three experts. One, a query parser, which understands natural language and maps it to business outcome. Two, data analyst agent that runs complex nPath analysis on Teradata and summarizes findings. And third one is business strategist agent that transforms technical results into executive insights. Okay, enough of that explanation. Let's dive into the code now. First thing first is environment setup. And here I've already imported the libraries or installed the libraries. And the one that we need here is Google ADK. And this is going to play the role of orchestration, and it will manage our agents and it will help us in building the agents. Right? For that, you need to run pip install Google-ADK. The next thing that you need to do is you need to import all the libraries that we'll be needing for this code. So we are importing ADK for agent development, right? And then we are importing Teradata ML for analytics, right? And we'll also be importing async IO for the coordination that you'll find later. And if you go to the API configuration, you'll find that we are using Google's Gemini 2.5 Flash. This is the agent model that we are using. We are only going to use one. The reason we are using it because it's fast, intelligent, and cost effective. Apart from that, you'll need to acquire the API key. You can get it from Google AI Studio. You can get it from there. And once you have it, you simply need to run this. Next thing I need to do is you need to connect to Teradata database connection, right? And here you need to pass the password that we had previously used to create our environment. Once you are connected to your environment, the next thing that you need to do is you need to load the data. And this data, again, is already there. We are simply calling it, and we are exploring the data, right? Now, you'll see that each data, basically, we have data in a Teradata data frame, right? And we are finding the top 10 or the head 10 data. And you can see that there are around 35,866 rows of data. And each row, or there are three columns: entity ID, date stamp, and event. So basically, each row is time-stamped customer action, right? So you can see that this is a timestamp, this is a customer action, and this is the ID of the customer. Once you have that data, next thing that you need to do is you need to sessionize that data. Okay, I'm running this code. Now, what is sessionization? Here we are using Teradata's sessionize function with a 24-hour timeout window. So any new interaction after 24 hours starts afresh. Now, sessionization groups user interaction into sessions, a series of action by the same user within a defined time window. It helps turn raw clickstream data into structured journey that reflect real behavior. You can see that here we have created the sessionized data, and again, we are taking the top 10. right? And we are also saving it in a table in Teradata database, and that table is demo sessionize events. And we have the object for that. That is what we're going to be using later once we need to sessionize data, right? You can see that it has created a sessionize ID or session ID for each and every entity. Okay. Next thing that you need to do, once you have this, you have sessionized the data, you have the session. Next thing you need to do is you need to find or define the nPath pattern. Now, here we are using Teradata's nPath function to scan a set of rows. We are looking for patterns. It's similar to regular expression, right? Here we are basically looking at three key business outcomes, which are purchase, cancellation, web chat. And that is what we have defined here, right? With every key business outcome, we have to define the symbols, patterns, and results. Here we have defined the part definitions for purchase with symbols, patterns, and results. Similarly, we have defined it for cancellation. We have defined it for web chat. Now, once you have this, next thing you need to do is you need to create a function that basically calls this, or basically helps us is in calling the nPath function. And for a particular outcome, say for example, cancellation or purchase, it calculates the complete definition, complete path, and gives us the complete path that led to, say, cancellation or purchase. Here we are using the Teradata's nPath function, and basically it executes the nPath analysis on sessionized data. nPath goes through all the sessionized data, find these patterns, and gives us the event path, how many customers followed each, and their frequency and complexity. Now, if you look at the custom function, this is going to be acting as our tool that we are going to provide to one of our AI agent. This function takes outcome, and this outcome is going to be either three, any of three, which we have defined here. It's going to be either your purchase, your cancellation, your web chat, right? Let's say that we have defined it as purchase. So what it's going to do is going to take the outcome as purchase, pass it to this particular part definition, and it's going to fetch all the symbols and patterns and your results, right? And once it has it, it's going to calculate the nPath, and that is done with the help of nPath function. Now, this nPath function takes different values. First, we need to provide the sessionized data that we did in the previous step, previous step, and then we have to define the partition column. We want to partition it on the basis of session ID, because that is what we need to do, right? We have to have different sessions or session ID on sessionized data. We have to define the order of the column, and of course we are going to have a chronological outcome for this, right? And we don't want our results to overlap, so we'll have non-overlapping for this. And again, we are going to fetch a symbol, pattern, and results. When we get the result, right, which is np, which is nPath, we are going to save it, or we are going to convert it in JSON, and that is what we are returning from this nPath function. So this is where we are using Teradata sessionization and nPath. Now comes a part where we are going to use Google's ADK. Now this is the functions, this is the cell where actually we are building the agents. So we have created a method, or create agents, right? We have created this. Now here is what we are defining our three agents. The first agent is Query Parser agent. And for that, we are using LLM agent function of Google ADK. And we are defining the name of the agent, what model is going to use. So all the three models are going to use only one agent, which is Google Gemini 2.5 Flash. And then we are providing the instructions. Now, these instructions have to be very, very, very uh, straightforward, on the point, concise, and precise. Otherwise, you might not get the desired result. In our case, we are simply taking out certain keywords from the query that we are going to receive. Say, for example, your CEO asked that, okay, what was the path that a customer took that led to cancellation? So from that complete sentence, only one keyword is what we are looking for. That is cancellation. Now this cancellation keyword could be stated like this, like cancel or churn or leave or unsubscribe. So whenever our agent will see these keywords, it's going to take or assign it as cancellation. And we have to define the output rules also that you can see here. Okay, and there are some examples that you need to provide to your as prompt, right? To your prompt that, okay, show me the path leading to purchase, which means purchase. Why do customer cancel? That means cancellation, and so on and so forth. So first agent is going to get the output, is going to analyze the text that is we are going to get, and then take out the keyword that matches with the part definition, or the keyword for part definition, which is purchase, cancellation, and web chat. Then we have second agent. This agent is going to perform the heavy lifting, and we are calling it as data analyst agent. We're using the same model. What this agent does, it takes a keyword from the first agent, say purchase, and then on the basis of this, it calls the tool nPath, and that tool basically does all the tasks for you, right? It calculates the nPath of the Sessionize values, right? Of the Sessionize data. And then it returns you technical, you can say that summary of the path of what you want. Say, for example, you want purchase. Then this is going to calculate the technical summary or provide you a technical summary of that particular uh, keyword, purchase, right? Now, this provides a technical summary. Now, a third agent is the agent which is going to be acting as a strategist. We call it business strategist agent. Is going to take the technical summary from first agent, right? And then it's going to convert it into executive insights or recommendation, right? So it's basically is acting as your analyst, your main player, which is going to return the output to the query that we had or somebody had asked from you, right? If you look at the instructions of this, right, you can see that we have defined it into different categories. For example, your query, somebody asks an exploratory query, somebody could ask problem solving questions, somebody could ask analytical questions, someone could ask for a different kind of question, but we have categorized it into three categories: exploratory, problem solving, and analytics. And there are certain general guidelines that we have provided, like always start with a brief summary of finding. Of course, we would want to present a brief summary of what we have found. Use business language. We don't want it to be casual. We want it to be properly, completely formal, right? Include percentage and numbers from the data because that is something that everybody loves, the numbers, the percentages, right? And we would want to make insights specific and actionable when appropriate. And apart from that, measure depth of analysis to question asked. Now, you would want to keep the tone professional, right? Because you want to present it to somebody who is looking for the precise and concise information and all the details that you could get, but in a very formal way. Now, the next thing that you'll do once you have defined the functions, your agents, the next thing that you need to do is you need to orchestrate the pipeline. How are you going to do that? For that, we have created a function which is analyze customer journey, which takes the query. This query is what your CEO has asked you, right? And what it does, it basically uh, it's an async, right? So what it does is basically first we create the instances of the agent. Next, we create an in-memory session service, right? This is basically where we are starting the session, right? And then we assign a session ID. This is for the first AI agent. And then we create a session. That is where we are actually running the session. And we are providing the app name, user ID, and session ID. This is a session ID that we are providing. Now, this is for the first agent, which is your query parser agent. Then we have runner. Runner is the one that is executing your agent. So here you are providing your app name, your session service, and your actual agent. And then you are defining or you're structuring your query in a way that your LLM understands this. Right? This is for Gemini 2.5 to understand. Right? So this part is what is making your Gemini understand what you want. Right? And once you have it, then you have your events that you create a loop that where you go through the runner's output, and that output is what we are saving as outcome, and this outcome is what we are going to provide to our second agent. That comes to our second agent, which is analyze data using nPath. And in this session, we are again doing the same thing. We are creating session. We are creating session. Then we are creating a runner, and then we are again telling them what kind of uh, input Gemini should be expecting, right? And then we are storing the response and analysis. And this response is passed to your third agent, right? Which is your business strategist agent. You can see that the analysis has been passed here, right? Now, this is a technical analysis, and this agent is basically creating your final business summary or business analysis or business insight. Okay, let me run this code. Let me check if I executed the above code. I need to run this too. Okay, I'm going to run the cell, which is nPath calculation. I'm going to run this, which is agent architecture, and then I need to run agent orchestration. So we have all the structure ready. All we need to do now is ask question, right? So you can have ask different types of questions. The first question that you can ask is, what are the typical journey before cancellation? And let me execute this. And you can see that first one has executed. It has identified outcome as cancellation because you can find it in your query. The second one, data analyst agent, is executed nPath, which was the tool that we provided to our agent, right? And it has found 2,414 path records. And let's see for this third one, it's still getting executed. Let me check. Okay, so just confirming what we have defined here. So we have defined agent model as Gemini 2.5 Flash. Okay, so we'll scroll down. Let's see if that is working now. Okay, I'm going to run this again in case it did not take the. Okay, let's see, undo cell operation. Okay, so once this runs, basically what happens is your first agent runs and it it takes the keyword, which is say cancellation. It passes this on to the second agent, and then your second agent calculates the end path on the base of the keyword cancellation, and then it creates a technical summary, and that technical summary is then passed to your third agent. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm quickly going to restart this, and I'm going to run this whole quickly. It's going to take 2 minutes, I guess, I suppose. Okay, I need to pass this again. And yep, our data is getting loaded now. So our data is loaded. Next is sessionization, it's complete. Next is nPath, it's done. nPath function is also complete. Create agent is also done. Agent orchestration is done. Okay, now the third part is executed. It always happens in live stream, right? Okay, so our third part is getting calculated, and now finally we got the final business analysis. And you can see that first it calculated the summary, right? Then it calculated the key insight that led to customer cancellation, and it did a lot of bunch of different calculations for you, and it simply gave you a whole summary that you can, if you would have done it by yourself, or you would have need days or hours to do that. Instead of that, using proper agent or proper orchestration of agent, multiple agent, and good LLM and a bit of coding, you can get the output. Yep, that's the demo.
Thank you, Virham. That was amazing. That was a great demo. Demos has hiccups almost always. That's the demo effect. But it was great. It was great, and I learned a lot, and I think my audience learned a lot. Our audience learned a lot. But we are going to continue learning. We have a very special guest today, someone that comes from the source, from Google. Help me to give a warm welcome to Nathan.
Hello, hello everyone. Thank you very much, Daniel, Vidan, everyone. Tries to be here talking to everyone. First of all, First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity, and it's great to see Vidhan's demo. How effectively showcasing the power of combining the Google's agent development kit with Teradata's analytics. It's a really powerful demo for the game-changing things what developers and data engineers and analysts could do over here, right? My name is Nitin Reddy Cheruku. I'm a principal architect here, specifically focusing on generative AI and building innovative solutions for our Google Cloud customers. So I'm going to be talking today a little bit deeper on what are things you can do with Google Agent Development Kit and why it's game changer for developers and how it enables the creation of the sophisticated enterprise-ready AI agents, just like the ones in the demo, right? So first of all, before I get in, why, as Vidhan rightly brought up, like a team of specialists, why what's the motive behind the Google agent development kit, right? The single agent paradigm, as you can see, it has a certain ceiling on how what kind of complex systems that you can build, right? So that's where the multi agent systems, which actually helps in solving complex multi-step business processes. The single agent LLM paradigm could actually only go certain far where it could be becoming more monolithic and whatnot, right? So as you can think of this concept as a team of specialists, as what the team has demonstrated today, think of this as exactly like as how human organization could actually solve complex problems when they are best solved by a team of experts, each with a specific role, right? It's the exact same paradigm philosophy that actually Google Agent Development Kit actually is backed by. Okay, that being said, Google Agent Development Kit is a very structured framework for building, orchestrating, and managing the workforce of AI agents, right? So what I want to quickly touch base is two things. One is what can we do from here, from the demo, like whatever with Teradata team has demonstrated here, like as what Vidhan has showed up, right? So there are three agents specifically, right? The Query Parser agent, the Data Analyst agent, and the Business Strategist. These are like perfect examples of a specialist pattern in action to build or solve a multi-agent complex business problem, right? But I want to highlight three architectural principles first of how Google Agent Development Kit that are critical for enterprise adoption. I'll start with scalability. What's in it? So the agent development kit's architecture is designed to handle a large number of agents and complex workflows. So there's a service called in-memory session service, which is used in this demo as well. It's great for getting started. But the agent development kit supports more robust, scalable session management solutions suitable for production environments as well. So, but you as a developer or data engineer, data scientist who are trying to get started, this in-memory session service will help you greatly speed up your local development testing processes as well. But as you move towards production, you can move the session state onto a more persistent databases as well, where you can constantly monitor or store your long-term memory as well, which can help build awesome experiences for your customers. And this system remains performant and reliable as well, because on your local testing, once your application restarts, the memory or the session could be could be completely cleared out. So when you're moving into the production environments, you could do those kind of things where you can store your session or memory in a more persistent state. The second one I want to touch is the security, right? In an enterprise context, security is paramount. The agent development kit provides a very secure framework for managing the agent interactions and data access. For example, you can define specific permissions for each agent, ensuring that the data analyst agent, for example, here can access the Teradata database, while the business strategist agent cannot, right? This principle of least privilege is a very core security best practice, which is actually baked in as part of the agent's access patterns. And the third one, last but not least, is observability and management. As you're thinking of building these agents, as you're moving them to production, observability and management will also become paramount. Once you have a team of agents running, you need to be able to monitor their performance, debug issues, manage their life cycle, to reduce your operational overhead. The agent Agent Development Kit provides these tools and hooks for logging, monitoring, and tracing, giving you the visibility you need to manage your AI workforce effectively, right? So with that being said, the last things I want to touch is like, how do you speed up your development to production quickly, right? ADK ships something called ADK Web, which is a user interface tool that you can use to debug, trace, eval. You can run evaluations on your local machines pretty quickly so that you know exactly how your agent is being performed against your test cases, and also see the agent in action in a more interactive manner. And also ADK also ships with a fast API server as well, where the agent can be exposed as an API, and you can integrate that API into your existing applications. So these are some of the cool features that Agent Development Kit ships with, so that you can get into and start accelerating your development to production by using some of these native features. The last key takeaway is, as you see, so you see that Google Agent Development Kit provides enterprise-grade framework. You need to build, orchestrate, and manage your AI workforce. It's also built for scalability, security, and the manageability as well. So you can move from prototype to production with confidence. I can't wait to see like what all experiences and problems you will be solving with Google Agent Development Kit on top of Teradata data platform. So good to be here and talking to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Daniel.
Okay, thank you very much, Nitin. That was very instructive. We are going to have very quick Q&A session, both for Birham and Nitin. I think one of the questions that have come right now is precisely for Nitin. What is the maximum number of agents that we can program in one system with Google ADK?
So we have a concept called when you say systems, right? Think of it as a microservices system, right? So when you're thinking of this, when you're thinking of building a multi-agent systems, you also know this does not differ from the concept of the microservices what we used to build in traditional software world, right? So it's not just about putting all the code or all the application into the same agent. You're building like one specific agent for specific purposes so that it does one job very well. So that being said, so a single orchestrator agent, when you're building a multi-agent system, you could be having these processes running as individual microservices on different servers, different things, so that you are the delegating the control execution to those underlying systems as seen. But there's no rule as such that these are the only set of tools or the services that you are running in a single process or single system. So depending upon your team, your the amount of the ownership, what each agents actually will be going and building together, you can host those as a single process, multiple process which are owned by your team, or this could be a reusable components that could be deployed independently, which different teams also could leverage, and where the main agent orchestrators could be reusing and calling them as well and discovering them on the fly. And we see this kind of pattern. We call it as fan out pattern, and also at the same time delegation pattern. We see these kind of patterns all the time in the field, where now we are moving into a world where the tool services, the previously the tools were part of the single agent, but now we are also seeing a place where the tools are being evolved into tool service itself, so that it's available towards the entire organization as well. So to answer your question, there's no fixed rule. Depending upon your organizational or operational overhead, and whether your team's ownership is going to manage one or two agents, or if it's going to be reusable by other teams, depending upon that, you are going to put those systems together or deploy them independently.
Great. Nathan, we got another question, and that's also for you. Does ADK integrate some core features of Alpha Evolve, recursive self-improvement, AI system, for example?
I need more details on that question. So when you say alpha recurve, can you add more details on that?
Alpha Evolve. I think that might be another system that or another framework. I don't know exactly what it is. It
But
came from the audience.
but
But
but one of the things I would love to add and tell you is there's a concept of deterministic and non-deterministic systems. What that means is essentially, whether you're building multi-agent systems, very deterministic, depending upon the business criticality, or whether the
Mhm.
systems or whether the processes from the business process has to execute sequentially or in a loop, or to make it to make the business process very aligned with the multi-agent system that we are building. So Google Agent Development Kit provides that functionality, whether you want to build the system in a very non-deterministic way, where the agent makes that dynamic control, which has a dynamic control and which decides the execution path on what tools and what kind of things that need to do, and it can go and access those tools, or whether you can build a system that goes sequentially as well, that you can go, put it in a very reliable manner. And that's exactly what Vidhan was also showing, right? Like as how the data parser agent, query agent, as well as a business strategist agent, they all sequentially execute. So you can build those kind of systems.
great. I think we're a little bit over time, so we have a couple of questions that we might not be able to tackle, but you can contact us in the community site. Some of the questions are related to hallucinations and stuff like that. But we are a bit over time. Nathan is a very busy man, so we cannot keep him for that long. And we are going to pass the ball to Birham to tell us what is coming up
Yeah,
and wrap it up.
yeah. So before we wrap up, a quick plug. Tomorrow at the same time, that is 9 a.m. Pacific time, we have got an amazing LinkedIn Live, a fireside chat with experts from Teradata and NVIDIA, unlocking the power of AI factories with Teradata and NVIDIA. They will be diving into the transformative capabilities of AI factories designed for enterprises that need to accelerate AI ROI while staying compliant, all on premises. Make sure to tune in. It's going to be a good one. And thank you, Daniel. Thank you, special thank you, Nitin, and thank you everyone for joining in. And we'll see you soon next time. Until then, have a good one.
Thank you very much.